We do have another hand up, Runa, but we're going to go with Mr. Red. Then we're going to go to Mr. Bob. And then Miss PNG Runa is going to close it out for us. Go ahead, Red.
Cheers, Chris, my brother. Hope you're good. Hi, Ash. How you doing? And everyone on the panel. Always good to be here listening to some very good people speaking. Just two things before I go into sort of a bit of a topicy summary. First one with Susie on the driving on the left-hand side. Funnily enough, you said that it feels really well. Before Formula One drivers went on to paddle changes on their Formula One cars, majority of Formula One drivers chose to have the stick change and to drive like the English do with their major hand on the steering wheel, which is predominantly right-handed. They felt it was more safer and confident, and that's why maybe that you think it's a safer way of driving because your main hand is on the steering wheel. I don't know, but majority of Formula One drivers felt the same. Also, I want to just talk quickly about what Ash was talking about SpaceX and the heavy lift. There's actually a better backstory to what he's told about that, and that was when, if you have or haven't read about Elon Musk's success, when he sold out PayPal to eBay, and he had just over 11% share in PayPal and got all these millions. He wanted to get into the space industry, and what he had in mind was to do heavy lifting. Is exactly what Ash was talking about. But did you know that he originally was going to buy the heavy lift rockets from some Russians? So he went all the way to Russia to have a look at these reusable rockets that he was going to use for heavy lifting. They wanted an absolute fortune for them. And he said, do you know what? I'm going to build my own. Does that remind you of somebody when somebody was looking for something and he said, do you know what? I'm going to build my own, because this man here had plenty of opportunities and even approached plenty of people before Onpassive to do his idea. And guess what? Wasn't suitable, wasn't what he wanted. And Elon Musk did exactly the same. He wasn't happy with the price. He wasn't happy with what they were offering. So he said, I'm going to build my own. And then we go down the journey, which Ash has said, of him going through the failures until he got the last one. And he's absolutely right. The last test they did on the heavy lift rocket, if that hadn't succeeded, that would have been $170 million down the drain of all the tests, which in money he'd made from PayPal. So it's a really interesting story. If you haven't read it, go and read it, because it makes an awful lot of sense in where we are now and story behind what Ash did to start Onpassive in the first place. Now, I've got a couple of topics that I think are really important, and I think we need to reiterate more and more to our fellow brothers and sisters, because I think there's such important things that we should really take note of what Ash has said. And the first one I want to touch on is about how OConnect is not going to be used moving forward. Now, it's going to shock a lot of people, right? It's the one product that we loved, we liked, and we really felt comfortable with it as a game changer of what the IT industry and usability and resale value of what that product is. And a lot of people are going to go, well, why aren't we going to use it? Why aren't we using something that was fantastic? Why aren't we taking that with us? The short answer is what we're going to get is, in Ash's words, 300 times better. Now, we talked about change. We're talking about what we are used to, what people feel comfortable with. But if you present something that is way better than what we were used to, this should get people excited, because it's that change that they need to embrace to go to somewhere that is going to make such a bigger difference to them, because that product, which we don't know what it's going to be, but we know from our experience with Ash to over deliver, to give us something better than what was before. He's told us, I know which one I'm going to pick. I want the better one. And especially if that's going to come in at a lower price point than what it was before, better resale value than it was before, and put in the tech, put in the visuals, put in the newness of what it's all going to be, then it's only winner, winner, chicken dinner. I think we should start focusing on what is going to happen for the better rather than what was good at the time. We've spoken about how people tend to latch on to comfort because it's easier to do that. Change is always uncomfortable. But if you try and explain to people that this change is for the better, then people are going to move across. The other topic, and I know that it might embarrass Ash a little bit by bringing up this topic, but he mentioned it briefly about people that he has invited or hasn't invited yet to this next phase. Now, when I first got involved with Onpassive, and we've talked about the audio videos and all the rest of it, back in 2018, what did I do? I went on the Google. Who's this bloke called Mr. Ash Mufareh? Only positive things. Major marketer. People want to work alongside him. Why? Because of his marketing ability. This is an area that I've always maintained that is Ash's forte. This is what he's good at. This is why people wanted him to be in his company. Why? Because he always rose to the top, because of his marketing ability, because of what he's able to do. Don't you think that he's going to have a lot of that going on when we move to the next phase? We never saw it with Onpassive when we got going because it never evolved into that marketing stream. Yes, we had the advertising. Yes, we had the knowledge. Yes, we had the euphoria of us getting going ourselves. And we all produced that initial marketing part of Onpassive. It was us that did that because we spoke to everyone, we were getting going. But as far as the company of corporate Onpassive was concerned, that marketing machine actually never got going. When we go into the next phase, this is what he's going to be doing. This is where he's going to get his teeth into what he loves doing, and that is marketing. I'm sure he's going to use the best technology, the best people, where his friends that he hasn't brought in now are going to come into play. This is another area that I think we should definitely start telling people about, because this is going to make a huge difference to how this next phase is going to evolve. Things are looking, in my opinion, very, very bright for the future. I think we've got something. I can feel it. You know, we obviously believe, we trust our CEO, but I've really got this feeling that what we are going to see when we are given the first steps is going to absolutely blow our minds. We are going to be like kids in a candy store, and we won't be able to believe our luck of being there at that time with this next phase. We should embrace it. We should promote it to our fellow Onpassivians or whoever it may be, because I firmly believe that this is something that is going to absolutely revolutionize so many things on the internet, because it's going to be desirable to so many. That's it from me, Chris. Back to you.
Thank
Chris,
you.
so you don't want me to talk?
You had that look of like, I gotta say something. So you go right ahead, brother.
I prepared the question while he was talking about the change aspect, and kind of like again poked me in the space passion thing. And then as he spoke about marketing, I was thinking about, like, my brain was brewing another statement or input about marketing. And toward the end, I think my brain was working well, that combined the two in one. Okay, so I'm gonna cut time, which is talking about just one statement about the past and SpaceX experience. Not too shabby, the fortune that was an investment for 150 million, which not billion, by the way, the PayPal selling fund. And then not only that he didn't buy it, he believed that he could do it cheaper and reusable boosters. Who's dominating the industry now? Did he surpass them? Did he make a change? And like, Starlink, what, Sayed is using and our, friends in India, all of that, like it did impact the world, right? Forget, Doge and X, that's not his forte, but the rockets are his, or even Tesla, forget that. He didn't make Tesla. But one thing that he believed he could do better, he actually did. And he surpassed his initial suppliers, if you wish. Now, not too bad where he is today. He got basically unlimited access to the White House and to the United States government and therefore to the whole world, right? The leadership of the world. It's powerful. We're not talking about the political aspect of it, but the business is very inspiring and great mindset. Now, in terms of marketing, I'm going to have to say something. What worked even 5 years ago, that's the time we were still preparing for Onpassive, doesn't work today in marketing. That's another thing that if we did it the first way and we stuck with that, if we don't change, it doesn't mean we're going to have the success we want. But what we want to focus is on the philosophy, which is, and again, the theory, the concept, and the brilliance about marketing. If you get the logic how to attract customers, forget the tools. It's understanding the psychology and the mindset of the consumers and how to attract them. And you find a way to do it. Mark Cuban, I don't know if you know him, but a successful entrepreneur, okay, and member of the Shark Tank, the owner of the Maverick, I guess. Dallas Mavericks. So he said, whoever will nail it or nail the AI, okay, will be the first trillionaire. We don't have a trillionaire individual in US dollar. Maybe in other currencies, yes. Perhaps I don't think that statement could be accurate. I'm not going to focus on the wealth portion of it. But going back to AI, China's AI, the robotic aspect, the hardware AI, which is to do the repetitive, activities that human does in a different way, is different than the way that, let's say, robotic way to set off, to take care of a fire extinguisher or something, to go to a dangerous zone or a bomb or whatever. That's a different robotic thing. A military AI is different than, the search engine AI or something that, okay. So I don't believe the traditional race of whether it's a space race or oil race or technology and internet race or social media race, all of those races are still valid, or all of that. But the AI, I certainly believe it cannot be a race because everybody's lane is different and everybody could end up in a different destination and everybody could perhaps achieve or either fully their objective or some parts of it in that direction. Nobody knows where we're going to end up. It's an open era. I hope for the most part, it will be useful and good. But as the internet, when it came, it has two edges, okay, like a sharp sword from two sides, right? Or a knife, regular knife, like it has multi uses. You could stab somebody with it, or you could fix, like a good chef, like Redfern, a good meal or design of fruit basket or whatever. It's how you use it. So I'm saying that if we have a good use for AI, it should definitely improve our functionality as human beings. Elon Musk said, I don't know if you want to take any of his statement seriously. I wouldn't ignore it. I would take it seriously. Within 5 years, AI will operate major complicated surgeries more accurate than any doctor. What? That's going to impact our health, maybe lifespan. So how you use it matters. Now, I just want to add this, and this is, my cycle to kind of like connect everything. What if you be the first to have something disruptive in AI, knowing the logic of marketing, which is the biggest commodity? No business would ever say, I have enough traffic, I don't want no more business. It's the lifeblood of any business or individual. Everybody needs traffic or somebody to follow their ideology or buy their book or attend their event or click or whatever, watch what they say, right? Everybody wants followers or other humans to buy into their whatever they sell or preach. If you're among the first to solve this dilemma, now if somebody's working on the traditional marketing, I mean, let's face it, the mainstream, or what do they call that? A traditional, like television ad, right? Infomercial. Is it the same as 20 years ago? We didn't have as powerful internet. People are watching the internet. They're not watching television, or less, okay? It didn't 100% die. It's still working, effective. How about the newspapers or magazines, publications? 20 years ago and today, 30 years ago and today. There's nothing you cannot sell just by posting a little ad, any line, any publication. You're going to have business. Do it today. You're flushing money down the drain. Who reads papers, right? Not going to give you the same result. So organically, we have to transition. And if you use AI and use your logic of attracting people, all that science, all the art of attracting customers and consumers, leads, you're going to set a new precedent. Without talking about the mechanics, what we're able to do, but I did change completely on the direction there. The traffic company or the lead generation companies 5 years, 10 years ago are not the same. And if you're not open for that change, or if you're not going to change, you're going to be stuck behind. You're not going to keep up with the advancement that we have today. But monetizing the AI potential and power, the internet power, the logic and the understanding of a human psychology and consumers and how it works, the theory and the art of marketing. If you got that formula, you can connect it together, you're gonna rule the world, okay? it's all about marketing. It's all about marketing. Anybody could use more traffic. Any business, any organization, any president, any official, they need more followers and traffic. They need to promote their ideas, ideology. The more exposure you have, the more success, if you have something good. And I think we're up to something that is revolutionary. But thank you, Red, for opening such a topic. I'm passionate about both, obviously, but the marketing is something I strongly believe. We're fortunate enough that I was open, flexible enough to move forward and refresh and update today's modalities and today's methods and tools, even invent new ones to lead the market in the future. Back to you,